Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode with me, Coach Abby, Heart to Heart with Coach Abby. And just want to come in here and share. Like always, every Wednesday at noon, I come in here and share my heart with you in hopes that it will impact your heart in some way. And today, I just felt led to share more about autism because I have a son. As many of you know, I have a autistic son. He's almost 14. He is just to kind of just share a little bit about him. He is severely autistic. He is primarily nonverbal, which they call non-speaking. He does have words, but he does not communicate like this. Um, for now, he doesn't, but God is definitely moving. Um, and he has sensory processing disorder. So that means everything in his senses are incredibly heightened. So all your senses, your taste, your smell, hearing, all that is incredibly heightened to the point where it can be insanely stressful at times for him, or was insanely stressful. If you've been following my journey, you know what I'm talking about, but I want to dive a little bit more into that a little bit later. And he also has severe expressive language disorder. So that means he doesn't understand everything that I'm saying and he cannot express himself. So he was diagnosed around 5, but he started having symptoms around 3, which he just was not forming words. He just was not speaking. And I, pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off, thinking he was just a late talker. His dad's really quiet. His dad said, well, I would never talk if I didn't have to. So he was developing fine in every aspect, every way, except for he wasn't forming words. And so, and I researched, even Albert Einstein was a late talker. He did start talking, I think, till like 4 or 5. So you just think, well, maybe he's just a late talker. But then other things started coming up, what they call red flags. Little different behavior things that he was doing were showing, okay, there's something a little bit different here. And honestly, that's why I titled this Embracing Autism. I want to share more of my heart and the struggles of autism. I try to keep these to like 30 minutes max, but this might need to be a double one just because there's so much. And the reason I want to share this a little off topic from what I normally do is autism is part of my journey. God allowed autism in my life and in our life, and my husband and I. And I've had to grow just like I've had to grow through everything else. And I have so much depth in how to embrace autism and how to walk in peace in the midst of autism. And have a peaceful home and a peaceful child for the most part, and just all of it. I've had to learn to embrace that and grow through it so I can still walk in peace in the midst of life. My second book, I share a lot about my journey with autism. There's pictures of it, pictures of Shia in it. Of course, this is layered with a lot of other trials that I went through and had to grow through. Still living, still walking in peace during life's trials. So I want to, that's part of my journey. It's part of my coaching when I come across people with autistic children and things that they ask, and what are you doing in your journey, or how do you manage to do this? And I've had that privilege of being able to talk to a lot of parents that have autistic children to encourage them and inspire them and coach them too. I don't necessarily say I am a coach that is an autistic, parenting coach or something like that. I haven't really ventured into that, but it's still part of my heart, and I'm still open to share my journey and coach people through what we've done, what I've done as a mom to embrace it, how I've, have peace with autism and all the things that come with it. So this is more geared towards autistic, children or parents that have autistic children. So if this might be just like, this doesn't resonate with me, that's fine. But I'm sure you know someone that has an autistic child. And so share this with them. Maybe this will be something of, good, and maybe something impacting their heart. Maybe just that golden nugget, that God wink that will just say, hey, there's hope, or hey, there's something else that can be done. One of the things that I really struggled with at the beginning was really just embracing Shia wrapped in autism. And that was painful because in the midst of me having to learn to embrace Shia as he was, I had all these things surface in my heart, which I believe from a coaching aspect, when you go through the trials in life and, in the Bible, it talks about the refiner's fire. When you go through trials, then the impurities come to surface. Then you really know what's in your heart. Like anyone can be happy, joyful, peaceful, loving, kind when everything's going your way. And the same thing when I say anyone can love people who are just like them. But when things don't go your way, when the child you thought you were going to have isn't the child you are actually having, when you have to grieve the child that you thought you were going to have, how do you process that? What's in your heart? What's coming up to the surface? What's in your mind? What's in your thought processes? And as I had to really start embracing autism, I had a lot of insecurities that came in my heart. I had a lot of like, what did I do wrong? Lack of confidence, not thinking I had no idea how to parent a child with autism. I had babysat and watched my cousins and things like that, but I didn't. I was just blind in it, and I was terrified, honestly. I was scared. I thought for sure I did something wrong. So I had to go through the guilt and the shame and what did I do wrong? And this isn't perfect, and insecurities and comparing my child to other people, just a lot of stuff that's why I say God used Shia, my son Shia, to set me even more free. Had I had a typical child that did everything right, got good grades, was good in sports and all that, none of this would have came to surface. Maybe some other stuff would, but God set the stage perfectly for me to have to deal with some more stuff in my heart. So it is part of my journey, because as a coach, all I want to do is help purify. God used me to help purify your heart. What's in your heart that's keeping you from walking a life of peace? So when you're when you're a parent of an autistic child, I've seen so many parents, because we've been in the therapy world, we even were in school for 3 years, and I just saw them struggle. I saw them be unkind. I saw them just do horrific things to the children. And I heard about things that were done to difficult children, if you want to say, non-typical children, and it crushed me. And I had someone tell me, well, Abby, not all kids are like Shia. Not all special needs children are like Shia. And I know that. I know. But then I thought, and I talk about this in the book, and I thought, well, God, I mean, I know that all people are not like Shia. But I feel like having a home of peace is what really impacts a child, typical or not. Um, how is your home life? How is the atmosphere in your home? That's going to directly reflect on how Shia is. If I'm a controlling parent, if I'm just annoyed, if I'm just like, I want this my way, if I want, like, he had sensory issues, so he could only wear certain clothing. And I'm like, if I had some sort of image thing where my kid doesn't need to be wearing the same type of clothing every day, because I've coached someone that came to me and said, I just struggle. He wears the same thing every day, and I just don't like it. And I just think people are looking at me, and I'm like, whoa, 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 back up. This isn't about you. And so you have to let go of those things. And so she was putting more stress on the child because of her own stuff in her heart that was projecting on him. And she tried to discipline that sensory thing out of him. She tried to spank that sensory thing out of him. I was like, you cannot discipline this out of a special needs child. This is not a thing that you can just get a hold of them and make them act right. This is a mental thing, sensory. It's just overwhelming. It takes over, and they cannot function if they're in these clothing that just affects them a certain way. It's just too much. So why not just let them wear the clothes? Like, get over yourself, let go. And so I've had to coach people, like, that's causing more stress on the child than necessary. So, we think, well, it's children, 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 children. It's actually a lot to do with the parent and what they're projecting out, what's going on inside your own heart that you're projecting out on your child. And so I think developing a home of peace, which the only way you can have a home of peace is to work on the issues in your heart and what's overflowing out in the atmosphere around you. That's still be love, give love. When everything within you is calm, peaceful, still, that's living still. And the God just fills you up and just starts working on all these things in your heart, then overflow out to the atmosphere around you. So be love, give love is about being so filled up with God's love, you can't help but allow it to flow out and impact the world around you. So I'm this person to Shia, and I always have been. But at the beginning, because God had done a deep work in my heart, it wasn't all about, oh, I'm just this rosy type person, and I'm just, you know, just kind. No, that was a work God had to do by me surrendering my heart. And God, I want to be the best parent to Shia. I want your fruits, love and joy and peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Think about those from a parenting aspect. I want those to overflow out in the way I parent, the way I am a wife, the way I am a coach, the way I am a friend, a daughter, a person, a teacher, a speaker. I want all of that to be fruit of my life and to overflow out. And that directly impacts everyone around me, including my son. So I've posted tons of videos because we've had massive breakthrough with these phototherapy patches that God has brought us about at the end of July. We've had massive breakthrough. So I have, in my joy and excitement, I have posted our journey on Facebook. And you've seen, I don't know, 50 videos, maybe more, probably more, because I've done like 13 videos at a time. And I've posted it, and so many people have said, you are the most loving person I know. Because they're seeing me interact and they're seeing my words. And that wasn't show just because I was on camera, because some people do that. That's just who I am. I talk to Shia in a kind way. I treat him the way I'd want to be treated. I let him explore. I let him take in the world. I remember what it's like to be a child. I try to get in the world of autism, and he has sensory. So when something feels good, and you saw him rubbing his head up against something or his back up against cold post, I wasn't like, come on. No, I'm like, wow. I stop and I let go of me, and I choose to look at him in a way that that's his world. That is something he's enjoying. He doesn't go out and enjoy video games or sports or anything like that. So this is his world, and I let him enjoy it. And I take time, and I don't have an agenda. I'm never hurrying him. And I talk about that stuff in this book too. It's like, I remember being outside one time years ago, and Shia and I were just out, just taking in, stopping and smelling the roses and all of this, just enjoying the nature when he was out ready to explore. Now, we stopped exploring back in 2019, and it got really, really, really hard for him to explore. So we're outside, and this kid, probably Shia's age, young, probably 6 at the time, 5, 6, was like, hi, just sweet little innocent little girl, hi. And she paused and was just wanting to engage in the moment. And her parent, her mother, was like, come on, hurry up. And I was like, it crushed me. I'm like, what harm would it have done for that parent to just stop and let her take in that moment with a stranger? And what that parent does not know is that she is instilling, programming this child to always be in a hurry, to not move with what I call flow with life, flow with the spirit, to just always be like, got to do this, got to do that. I just don't live that way. I don't even live that way as a person, but as a parent, no. And as a wife, no. But God's done work in my heart. So I understand, and I have empathy and compassion for a person, a parent that's being that way. And just realizing, wow, there's a different way to live. Both you and the child would be happier if you would choose to slow down, move with life. Don't have so much on your plate that you're always in a hurry. Get up earlier so you're not always in a hurry. And that's a lot of coaching stuff. That's not a flip of a switch. I'm just better. Flip of a switch. I'm kinder. I'm more patient. I have more self-control. It's not. It's a work in your heart. And it's a you desiring to reflect light and love and wanting whatever's in your heart that's not pleasing to God, to just work on that, Lord, work on that. And I have that posture. And that's what as a coach, I always try to encourage people to have that heart posture. That's the only way you're going to have breakthrough. So as Shia has grown or gotten older, I have grown so much as a person. And I'm so grateful God brought autism into my life to help mold and shape me to be even a better me, to get rid of all insecurities, to get rid of what people thought of me as a parent, how I was doing it, how I let him go with no shoes on. I don't care what you think. I don't care if he's been laying in the floor because he loves that cold sensory. I'm in my son's world, and whatever is going on around me, I don't care anymore. But I used to. When people would say things, I used to get so like fixated on it that I would literally shrink back and just go back to the house, and just because it was uncomfortable, I didn't want people to view me that way. God's wrecked all of that because of my son Shia. I've allowed Shia to be one of my greatest teachers. And if you will allow your child to be a teacher, typical or not, but a lot to do with autism, because they're so different and they're so fascinating and they're so peculiar in a good way and unique. And if you will let go and get in their world, oh my goodness, what you will see, what you will experience, what you will feel, what you will discover about yourself and about a child with special needs. It's beautiful, beautiful. So we create a home of peace. Shia thrives. All children will thrive in a home of peace, in the atmosphere being peaceful. And like I said, all of the fruits of the spirit flow out of me to Shia. And so the comments that you guys have had on these videos are beautiful. Thank you. But all glory to God. I'm kind because God made me this way, because I've surrendered my heart and I've asked Him to make me be the best mom that I need to be to Shia. And that requires letting go of my way, my agenda, my thoughts, my, all that control. It has to be this way. And I let go and say, God, maybe it doesn't have to be this way. What are you trying to do? I can feel this. And first of all, I just want peace. And so I've coached lots of parents. It's like letting go, letting go. There's such a thing, like, even what they're saying, this is my house and they got to obey by my rules. Not necessarily. I don't think that. It's our home. Shia is my child. So it's just as much as his home. Yes, I pay the bills, but it doesn't matter because it's my home and I pay the bills. And so you're just a guest in this home. No, he's family. So I'm like, what do you want to bring to this home? And he explores the home, and we will give him space to be him. That's really what it is. And so people saying, how gentle and kind I was and how patient I was, and I'm the most loving person, and you're such an amazing mom. And if all autistic children could have a mom like you, man, what a world of difference. Well, if all children can have a mom that's patient and kind and has self-control and gets in their world and lets them have a voice and not try to be so controlling, demanding, it's my way or the highway, all children would thrive and be better. So it's just a beautiful journey of letting go and letting them be a person. I always tell even the therapists and the supervisors where they get so adamant about goals and rigid and all of this stuff. I'm like, Shine is a person. I get it. We're going to reach for goals, but we're going to move at his pace. I'm not so rigid to think that this goal has to be done. I want to let Shia enjoy life. Yes, I want him to progress. Yes, I want to instill things in him, but I also want to let go. And what is he trying to communicate to us? He matters. Even if he's not telling me in the verbal way, he still has a voice that's very loud. And if you will listen and let go and try to get into his world, he's trying to communicate something. So if he's not ready for that goal, then okay, let's pull back and let's reevaluate. They say, we have all of these therapies, and I'm sure you've heard this. We have all of these therapies for special needs children to cope in our world, to get them to come over into our world, which I don't necessarily agree. I'm for trying, I call it shared worlds. They can't function in our world the way that typical people can. They just can't. And so, they talk about inclusiveness and all that stuff. But I would like to help you as a person come into his world and kind of give you therapy on how to approach Shia, how to approach people with special needs. And it's not something I've really tapped into, but as I'm putting more of our journey out, there's just this lot of verbiage and talking and people reaching out and things like that. And so I do have a voice for autism, and I've been sharing our journey since he was 7. So like 7, 8 years now. And, but yeah, we're always trying to get them into our world when there's so much to learn in their world. What if God's allowing all these special needs children now, like there's an epidemic and there's a lot of political stuff as to why it's happening and all that. And I do believe, well, we're not going there because I don't talk about that stuff, but I believe there's some stuff, there's some validity to some of those things, but God's still sovereign and control and allowing this. So what if he's allowing all of these special needs children so we can learn, so we can learn to let go, so we can do things a bit differently and, get into their world. It's a beautiful place. So, and there's lots of things that I do from a parent to help Shia cope with the symptoms of autism. And I wanted to touch on this a little bit. And if you are touched by this at all, or if these things that I'm getting ready to share, you want to know more about them, the cost and what they're about, and a little bit more about the research or whatever, fine, reach out to me. If you feel like you're struggling and you're like, okay, I'm that autistic parent that is just not peaceful. I know there's a different way. Can you help me? Reach out. We can do some coaching on that. It's available. Like whatever, however God wants to use me, I'm there. And I just want to bring peace to people's heart, whether it's an autistic parent, whether it's a husband, wife, daughter, teacher, doctor, whatever, business owner, ministry leader. I don't care. I just want to help you. If you're ready and you're teachable and you're open to learning a different way to do life, I'm here for you. I've got so many tools that you can get a hold of that begins to do that hard work. So over the years, and I share this in this book too, the things that God's brought us through prayer, through intense prayer. God, show me what Shia needs. He's extremely picky eater. And I, as being someone in the health field and been in, health and wellness degree, I'm, a health nut, I'm spirit, mind, and body, all that stuff. Shia was not getting a variety of food, and it alarmed me. So I prayed about it, put it at the feet of God, because that's what I do, and that's what I train people and coach people to do. Lay your burden down, cast your care, and then wait for God to speak. So everything I do is still about listening to that still small voice, which is all about these books. It's all about listening to God and letting Him lead your path and allowing your heart to grow too in the process. So I would lay this down, and sure enough, in His beautiful faithfulness, He would bring something across my path. Not once, not twice, but usually like 3 times. 2 or 3 times I'm paying attention because I've prayed and asked God. I am concerned about Shia's variety of food, the nutrients he's getting. And he's such a picky eater, and he just wouldn't, do a lot of things. So sure enough, he brought me a product called Juice Plus. He's been on it for years, and I have honestly knew about Juice Plus. It's been part of my life since 2006. And then for a season, we got off of it because of finances, but sure enough, he brings it back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I not think about that? That is brilliant. And I knew it was a God wink and an answer to prayer, because Juice Plus is just food in a capsule. That's it, just food in a capsule. So that has just eased this mama's heart, and he doesn't get sick. He's growing, he's thriving. So it just eases my heart to just I give him these capsules every day. Now he doesn't swallow them. I open them up, put them in a syringe, and squirt it in his mouth. We've got our whole syringe routine. I also give him minerals because, again, deficiency. So I give him a mineral, a very good mineral from the earth. And then we've done different things over the years. But what we're doing currently now, and what I feel is a blessing, is the Juice Plus and the minerals. Then a couple years ago, again, Shia was in a horrific state of mind. This is going to go over because I got only 5 minutes left, but sometimes it's going to be that way. But he was in just a horrific state of mind. And I talk about this on the Facebook, is where to the point where he could not go anything. And sensory overload just expanded. He could not look at TV screens. He could not have audio, any sort of audio. We would even be outside. Someone would be on their speakerphone, and it was too much. Someone would be playing music in the distance, too much. And he would just kind of get in like this terror, panic attack. And we would have to leave because it was so stressful. I could not take him anywhere in public because the sounds and the everything, there's video, or there's TV screens everywhere, even to the point where gas stations, it's so loud, and there's a TV screen, and the billboards that are TV screens. He would be freaking out in the car because he would see this. I'm not sure what was going on in that. I mean, I kind of allude to some things in the book, but either way, he was in a really, really bad state, just even to the point where, I mean, we went anywhere, nowhere. And then even in our home, we could not turn the TV on. I could not open my laptop. I could not listen to music on my phone. And it was just that severe. He was biting himself more, scratching to the point where he would bleed. He was just uncomfortable in his own skin, and everything was just wigging him out. And I was like just restricted back more and more and more and more, and literally living in my home. That's it. And if I needed to go somewhere, someone had to come watch Shia that I trusted that could handle him. He wasn't going to therapy anymore, and it was just really bad for him. Of course, I'm a person that's like, God, I trust you. And I would say to some friends, I could easily hate my life if I allowed myself to get into that poor me state because I was isolated in my home, restricted, could not go anywhere freely. But I used that time to try to learn contentment and really studied what contentment was because Paul and Apostle Paul, he's stated in the Bible, he's learned to be content in all things. So I said, Lord, I need contentment more now than ever. I want to be content because I want to be peaceful. Even in the midst of that crazy storm, I still want to be a light. I still want to be joy. I still want the atmosphere of my home to be peaceful. So that way I'm not feeding in or escalating Shia even more. I want to be able to bring peace to the chaos. And as a parent, you have that authority and you have that ability and you have that power to bring peace to their storm. You should not get involved in their storm and get all like crazy and start beating on them and yelling and smacking them and all that. That's just going to escalate it. I personally don't do that. I feel like that just amps up. And I wouldn't want to be treated like that when I'm in a state of stress. I want people to be kind. I want people to listen, or I want people to give me space so I can calm down. I want people to have empathy. So does your child. So does Shia. So I would never bring that intensity to him. I would always bring peace to the situation. And it was beautiful. And it pained my heart that he was going through that. So as a praying mom, I would say, God, if there's anything out there that can help my child, please show me. And if not, if this is what you have for us, this is the surrender part that is so vital to walk in peace. If this is what you have for us, then I'm okay with that. Contentment, surrender, trust. I'm okay. But if there's anything out there that can help Shia find that balance to calm his system down, show me. And sure enough, about 2 weeks later, this product, not once, not twice, but 3 times came across my path. And I went for it because I was like, and it worked beautifully. I started out very slow and because it can cause digest issues. And so it's from a company called Amare and it's called the Kids Fundamental. And it has been a total game changer. That was like 2 years ago. Um, and that one product alone got Shia back in clinic, calmed it down. Like he wasn't biting, he wasn't as frustrated. He just calmed things down to where, oh my gosh, he was open to go back to a place that was familiar to him, which was clinic. And then, so he was doing in home clinic or not in clinic therapy, his ABA, because we were just doing it at home because that's the only thing he felt safe with. And so everything was revamped. Well, this one product allowed him to shift. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was breakthrough. It was like massive in my heart. I was like, oh my gosh. But he still would not go anywhere in public. He still was freaked out about screens and audio. But hey, we were making progress. And we added another product called Kids Mood. It's from the same company in Amare. And it worked. It settled things down, but there was still massive sensory overload, never being able to go anywhere, still in public, a lot of stress, a lot of pushback for public places. Now he could go to clinic and he could go to his OT therapy and very routine, very OCD, all of that, but still progress. So I was grateful. And so we're still on those products. Then um, in July, the end of July, again, I'm always praying for Shia, always laying him down. And God, if there's anything out there that can help him cope with the things that he struggles with, not that I'm trying to heal Shia, I'm just trying to help him navigate the symptoms of autism so he can have the best life that he can possibly have. So a lot of parents with children with autism don't even know this stuff's available and don't even know how to feed their child. We give no dyes whatsoever. If you study red dyes, it is extremely it can just really heighten a lot of things in all children, but a lot with special needs. And I've seen it. I've seen a child go from this to craziness because of the amount of sugar and the amount of dyes that were in the processed food. So we do no dyes, and I coach people how to read food labels. We do very little sugar. Shia does have processed foods. He eats the cereal, pretzel. We do what I call a Shia bites, and I just throw a bunch of good stuff in it. And it's bound with almond butter, raw almond butter. We do raisins. He does bananas and apples, and he does his little gluten-free spinach tortilla at night with chicken and sweet potato in it. So I mean, he eats decent, but that's it. It's in those four little things. That's why we do Juice Plus, because Juice Plus allows to get him like 30, 40 different nutrients from different vegetables and fruits and berries. And it's beautiful. But this thing that I started praying for that came across my path back in July was the phototherapy patches that you guys have seen me share, which has been night and day difference. Oh my goodness. You just have to go back to my Facebook page and just see the breakthrough. The kid is going to stores, wanting to go to stores, asking, go for a ride. He's never said that sentence ever. Now, I have said it, but he was just standing there. And just one night he was standing by the back door to go to the garage. And I'm like, buddy, what do you want? What do you want? Because he has some words, but generally when I say, what do you want? He'll take my hand and guide me to something or put his hand on something because he's primarily nonverbal. He can label stuff. He can say his ABCs and shapes, colors, all that. But to tell me what he wants it's not there. Rarely. I mean, he might say, want water, want a snack, get up, please, the basic stuff. But to say, Mom, I really would love to go somewhere tonight because I'm feeling good. No, I don't know. It's so I go strictly based on my own intuition and that still small voice, God leading me. And it's been helpful. And so I want to teach people how to listen to that voice. But he said, go for a ride. And sure enough, we're just going for a ride. And we end up prior to that, we had went to a few other places. And I'm like, what is going on? We went to 4 different places in less than a week. And they're just quick little trips, but I felt God say, try. And he'd been on the phototherapy patches for just over a month. And we do 2 different patches. And it's through a company called Lifeway. And we do the X39 patch and we do the Eon patch. And the X39 helps restore and repair the body. And the Eon patch helps calm the system down, stresses, inflammation, anxiety, all that. So the combination of both have been massively just a massive breakthrough, game changer. I'm to the point where I feel like I'm getting my boy back. All that sensory intensity is gone. Even to the point we went into Walmart the other night and I saw, they have all those screens and electronic, and I was like waiting for him to freak out. And he just looked at him, just walking and looking at him. No issue. There's big TVs and Tractor Supply. There's this huge, huge TV above the register. He's just looking at it. To where he was when he would see a screen and literally run or give me all of those stress sounds, night and day difference. What in the world is happening in my kid? And we go every night since Friday. We went every night somewhere for a drive, and we end up Walmart or a grocery store, Food Line here. And he is loving it. Go watch the videos. He is happy. He's not stressed out. Before this, if I had to take him somewhere, because sometimes I had to, it was horrific. I'm not kidding. It was horrible. So I always try to tell people it's like you're being terrified of snakes. You're terrified of snakes. And you have to go in that store and that whole floor is covered in snakes. And you have to calm down and be calm and do something functional. Shop, pay for something or whatever. How are you going to do with that? You're not. So that's how I felt like it was for Shia. Like he would, even in the parking lot, he would be freaking out because he knew the intensity of it. Those snakes were in there. The intensity of the sensory overload was in there, ready to just overtake him. And there's no snakes in any of these stores now, not even in the parking lot. He is happy. He's like doing all his happy hands. This is his happy hands, I call it. And just happy, like getting that happy energy out. And I am just overjoyed. And I just kept recording and recording and recording. Go back. It will do your heart good to see him flourishing. And all we've done is the patches. Now we're still doing Juice Plus. We're still doing the Mare, and we're now doing the patches. Is it expensive for all of that? I guess so. But to be able to sacrifice something on my end, to be able to give Shia the life that he needs, the supplements he needs to help balance out the symptoms of autism, worth it. Worth every penny, worth every sacrifice. I'll do with that. I don't do my nails. I don't do my hair. I don't do lots of makeup. I don't need that stuff. What I need is a boy that's thriving. And so I will sacrifice anything to make sure my boy gets what God is placing on my heart to do. for him for his optimal health. So that's a little bit. I know we're 36 minutes into this. I have tons more to share, but there is just a different way to do autism. Um, on so many levels, just embracing them for who they are, getting in their world, shifting their food intake, what they're eating, because that's going to greatly calm the system down, getting some, being creative, getting ways of getting nutrients in them. And there's all these supplements that have been supportive for us and that I'm happy to share with you if you want information so that I know it's tough. I know it's tough on you as a parent. It can be insanely tough and insanely overwhelming to the point where I hear people just lock them in a room like an animal because they can be. It can feel like they are an animal. So it's like, how do you handle that? And you just lock them up. Well, that's not doing you any good or them, and actually traumatizing him more and setting them up for more intensity in the future. So there's a different way. Let's calm the symptom or the system down and calm those symptoms down. And then maybe you and the child will be able to live in a place of peace more. So reach out to me, share this with someone that might be struggling with a child that has autism and everything's just intense and aggression and biting and scratching and hitting and just sensory overload and all that. I would love to share more. I can't promise that it's going to work like it's worked for us, but pray about it and follow your peace. Always follow your peace. Don't just make a decision based off of a whim. Well, it worked for her because I did that too. Well, it worked for them. They did this protocol and it made them start talking. So without even praying about it, I just jumped in and it totally was awful, awful. And so what works for someone that might not work for you. So pray about it and ask God, is this a part of pathway to healing for my son, daughter, mother, whatever? And just follow the leading of the Spirit. And if you want more information, please reach out if you need a little bit of coaching to be able to find peace and to embrace your special need child just as they are, to find peace in your home and in your heart towards them, then please reach out. I'm happy to come alongside you and love on you and get you to a place where you can be loved and give love to the world around you. Thank you for listening. I hope it was a blessing to you guys. And you can go to belovedgivelove.com and click the service tab and you can see all that I offer. The phototherapy is on there. The whole food supplements are on there. The Mari isn't, but I can send you a link for that if you're interested. All right, guys. Bye now. Talk to you later.